Hi friends, welcome back. In this video, we will try to understand about how to create text tables in Tableau. Now, even before we go ahead and look at how to create text tables, let us talk about when to create a text table, or where do you see text tables in your day-to-day life? Mostly where money is involved. If you observe, most of the financial reports are text tables like balance sheets, profit and loss statements of organizations, your credit card statements, banking account statements, the income tax returns forms, data that you fill in there, right? Or for that matter, the bills that we receive, utility bills. Let's say you go to a mall and purchase something, then the receipt or the bill that you receive over there. So wherever money is involved, or in a way, wherever we have an eye for detail, wherever attention to detail is important, where the actual value is more important for our analysis rather than a quick comparison. That is where text tables come in handy. And text tables are referred to as cross tabs in Tableau. Okay, so in Tableau, if you hear the term cross tab or someone asks you to create a cross tab, they are simply referring to a text table. The structure of the table is something that you can decide by taking various dimensions into the columns and the rows shelves. So when you take something to the columns shelf, we saw in the previous session that members from that field will be arranged as columns. And when some pill is taken to the rows shelf, members from that field appear as rows. So you can decide what should be the structure by making use of the columns and the rows shelves. And the data that we put into that table should be taken into the text shelf. Of course, these are numbers, but when you take it into the text shelf, the numbers will appear. So let me switch to Tableau and show you how to create a text table. Let's say my requirement is to look at the profit across different years and different subcategories. So I need to make use of the date pill and I need to make use of the subcategory field. And I would like to look at the profit. So here is the profit measure. From the question that is given to you, first try to identify the fields. Once you have identified the fields, now you can start experimenting. Okay, I'm going to take order date to the columns. What will happen now? Tableau will arrange the members, the years present in the date field as columns. Okay, and I'm going to take subcategory into the rows shelf. So each and every member in that field, each and every subcategory appears as a row. And ABC is automatically generated. Okay, it comes when you have a chart with only dimensions used. And when there's nothing in the text shelf, ABC will appear. So in the marks card, you look at this option here, automatic. It's actually a drop-down list. Okay, but there are different mark types that we can use. Now, every data point in Tableau is referred to as a mark. Here, mark type is automatically T. T stands for text. T stands for text. Okay, that is exactly what we need, right? We need a text table. So I'm going to take profit into the text shelf. When I drop it in the text shelf, you will notice how Tableau displayed profit from each and every subcategory across different years in this chart. Okay. Another way of doing it is we can take profit and drop it directly in the table. That is also fine. Either way, you will get the same result. When I took profit directly into the table, Tableau automatically made an entry for the profit bill in the text shelf. Right. So whatever method is convenient, you can choose that method and do it. Now, what else? How do we enhance this table? What else can we do here? Let's say I would like to show the totals. I would like to see the total profit per year and the total profit from each subcategory. In that case, we go to the analysis option on the menu. And from there, we can go to the totals option. And from there, we can choose what we might want to display. In this case, row grand totals. You see, row grand total has appeared. So the summation of the data in this row. Basically, the overall profit from accessories, overall profit from appliances, so on and so forth. Now, to display the totals, there's one more thing that we can do. We could go to the analytics pane, and from the analytics pane, we can drag the totals option and then drop it in the respective box. Here, I would like to see column grand totals. So I'm going to display column grand totals like this. Look at that, column grand totals. Okay, this is the total profit from 2019, 20, 21, and 22. And this cell or this box here is indicating the overall total, the overall profit across all subcategories and across all years put together collectively. Okay. Now what else? I'll do one thing. I'm going to bring category and I'll place it before subcategory, not after. You see the small triangle icon coming up there, right? It means I'm placing category here. I don't want it here. I'll take it here. Now, if I place it here, I would be replacing subcategory. Look at that. I replace subcategory. That's not what we are trying to do. So if I want category before subcategory, look at that now. When I take it there, look at the small triangle on the top and look at the subcategory people moving a little bit, right? So you'll have to drop there. Okay. So now we can see the profits, which are also grouped by category, like furniture, office supplies, and technology. In such graphs, we might want to see the subtotals as well, right? So how do we display the subtotals? Very simple again. We can go to the analytics pane, drag the totals option, and now I will put it in the subtotals block. We have already displayed grand totals and row totals. That is why they are inactive, because they are already there. I'm going to put it here in the subtotals option, okay, under this option. And now you can see the subtotals. This is the grand total and this is the subtotal. We can do a lot more things over here with respect to formatting. See, these are all profit figures, right? Profit values. So, and this is United States Superstore data. So this is basically dollars. What if I want to prefix these numbers with a dollar sign? So we will have to simply right click on the chart, select the option to format. And once we choose the format option, the formatting pane will overlay the data pane. On the left side of your screen, you can see it. Here, we must choose the field that we wish to format. I would like to format the profit. Then, exactly which numbers are we trying to format? The default numbers or the totals or the grand totals? You need to be very specific. All the default numbers. So I'll go there and customize the currency. Currency custom. Here we can represent it the way we want. So I don't want to show any decimals. I will reduce that to 0. You can decide how you might want to show negative values. You can show negatives like this, you see, in brackets. Or you could show negative like this with the minus symbol before the currency symbol, or postfix it like that. Or you can keep it like this. The currency symbol followed by that negative sign and then the value. Anything is fine. So here, the other option is display units. We can round it off to the nearest thousands. We can round it off to millions, billions. We have such option. Here, millions is not making sense. I'll keep it as none. Okay, I'll just keep it as none. Next, prefix. For me, my system locale is India. So it is taking rupee symbol. But here, this is data from United States Superstore. So we need to put a dollar sign there. I'll simply replace this with dollar. And then I'll give a small space also, because after dollar, I would like to see a space and followed by that the number. The last option that you can see here is include 1000 separators, which happens by default. That is why you can see a comma, right? 7,145, 2,296. If we disable this, I mean, if we uncheck this option, then 1000 separators are gone. So if you want them, you can keep it. If you don't want them, you can remove. So these kind of things we can achieve very easily by using the format option. Okay, what next? Let's say the font. No. Okay, let's say the shading. Okay, let's go to shading now. I would like the totals to appear with a different shade. So I'm going to the total part. This is the icon for shading. Under totals, pane and header. There are two options. Let's change pane. Let's give this shade. Look at that. This is the pane. Okay. And if we change the header, you see this is the header. Total. Next, grand total. Let's indicate grand total with a different color. So I will use this color for grand totals. You can see the change happening in the chart. And always use light shades, subtle colors. Don't use very bright colors. It will not look good. Okay, so job done. Like that, we can highlight certain things that might be necessary. Now, coming to the font. Okay, you can also adjust the font of the pane, the header, alignment, shading, lines or borders you can give. Okay, let's say for total, I want a nice thick border like that. Look at that. Fine. Header also, we want a nice thick border. We can do it. And what about grand total? It also came automatically. All right. So this is row divider and column divider. If I make it 0, it will be like that. If I increase it, you see, you can just reduce the row divider if you want the borders very, brightly appear there. So yes, this is how we can do a lot of formatting as well. Do explore the formatting feature thoroughly because there are many things that we can do here, not just one or two things. There are so many things that we can do. All right, so let me close this. So this is how we create a simple text table by taking the dimensions into rows and columns shelf, which decide the structure of the table, by taking the data into the text shelf, and you can display totals if you would like to. You can also do formatting, which we have seen. All right, so far I hope it's clear. I would recommend that you pause the video here and try it out. Okay, just try it out once from your side. If there are any doubts, you can refer back to the video. So it's good that you practice because that is what will make you perfect at the end of the day. Let's proceed to the next concept now. We have seen text tables, but we are also going to talk about highlight tables. Okay. Highlight tables are just like text tables. Okay, you're just simply going to highlight the important information by using a background color. Each cell is given a color based on the value that it represents. So by doing this, by adding color to the table, color not just any generic shading like I did with formatting in this graph, but color which is decided based on the data in the table. Then it will be much more easier for people to read and understand, to highlight or to recognize the highs and lows. Okay, we're basically going to help make it easier for people to understand the data. So let's learn how to create a highlight table. All right. Let's say for highlight table, my requirement is to look at different measures across subcategories. Okay, different measures across subcategories. So across different subcategories, I would prefer taking it to the rows shelf because when I take it to columns, it will look like this. Okay, so let me take it to rows. I want them as rows, and I would like to look at various measures now. So first, let's show profit. I'm going to take profit into the table, or we can take it to the text shelf. Both are fine. Okay, let me take it to the text shelf first. Here it is on the text shelf. All right. Now we can see the profit figures, right? You can see what is the profit from each and every subcategory. But by observing a little more closely, we understand that copiers is the most profitable member. Tables is the least profitable member, right? It's taking a moment for me to understand that. because I have to, in a way, scan through the entire data, and then only I can understand what is the highest and what is the lowest. Instead, what if we can somehow color this? Okay, color it based on profit, which is what we'll talk about. But before that, we'll discuss a few more things. So here is a table which is showing me the profit. Now I want to show sales as well, because we are talking about showing different measures. So I need to include sales. How to do it? One option is to take sales into the text shelf itself. But when we do this, Tableau is going to display both profit as well as sales in a single cell. Okay, this is called a cell. So within a cell, it is showing me both profit and sales, which may not be very neat way of representing the data. People may get confused on what is profit and what is sales here, right? So rather than taking sales in into the text, I'm going to remove it from here. I will take sales and drop it directly inside the table. So when I leave sales on the profit column, please observe that there is this border, okay, this thick rectangular border or outline. Only when that border appears, you have to leave the pill here. So what am I doing? I've taken sales, which I will drag and drop on the profit column. And when I do this, Tableau has made sales appear as a separate column. But a lot of other things have happened, right? Did you all notice? Let me do it again. I've taken sales into the profit column and I'll drop it in the table. Okay, on the profit column. And what happened? You will notice that Tableau has used something called as measure names here in the columns shelf. It has used measure values in the text shelf. It's no longer just profit. And it has given us a measure values legend. It's given us a measure values legend where we can see both profit and sales. What are these fields? What is measure names? And what is this field measure values? What does it represent? Okay, these are called as generated fields. Okay, so whenever you get connected to any data source, we know that the fields from the data source are segregated into dimensions and measures automatically, right? Dimensions and measures. But in addition to the fields coming from the database, Tableau gives us 5 extra fields which are referred to as generated fields. They are measure names, measure values, latitude, longitude, and count. Okay, so what are these generated fields and why is Tableau giving them to us? Just to help us. They are very, very helpful. Measure names is a generated field that contains the names of each and every measure in that connection. It contains the names of the measures. So what are the names it will contain here? Discount is one name, profit is one name, quantity is a name, sales is a name. Measure values is a field that contains the data that is present in each and every measure. See, here discount field holds the discount information. Profit field holds the profit data. Sales field holds the selling price. Quantity holds information about the number of products sold, quantity. But measure values is a generated field which contains information present in all the measures. Think of it like a superset. It has information about discounts, it has information about profits, it has information about sales, it has information about quantity, everything put together. And whenever we create a chart with multiple measures in it, here in this case, more than one measure is there, right? Two measures are there. It's definitely more than one. So whenever we create any chart with multiple measures and a common header, for both of them, the header is common. subcategory. So in such scenarios, Tableau will automatically make use of measure names and values wherever applicable. Okay, we don't even have to worry about it. Wherever necessary, it will automatically use them. Count is also a generated field that contains information about the number of records in that table from that connection. Latitude and longitude, they contain the geographical coordinates, latitude and longitude coordinates for various geographic locations across the earth, which Tableau recognizes. Okay, so these are the 5 generated fields. Now, here is a table with profit and sales. I'm going to take discount also into the table, and I'll take quantity also into the table. Right, so we have multiple measures. And what is the sequence in which they are arranged? Alphabetical order. They have D first, then P, Q, R, S, right? So it's going in alphabetical order. How to rearrange the members? Is it possible to rearrange them? Definitely yes. You can interchange them here in the measure values legend. Let's say I want profit after quantity. I'll drag and drop it after quantity. Now notice the small triangle icon there, this orange color. It means I'm putting it here, okay? Accordingly, it got rearranged. Let's say I want discount as the last column. I'll drop it below sales. Look at that orange colored arrow kind of a thing there. It got rearranged. So summation of the products purchased, overall profit, overall sales is fine. But summing up discount is not making sense. Generally, people would want to know average discount, right? Not the summation of the discount for all the rows. So discount cannot be 571%. Discount cannot be 138%. The reason why we are getting it like this is because the aggregation is not correct or not relevant here. I will change it. So how to change the aggregation is you go to the pill, click on the drop down icon and navigate towards the measure option. From here, I'm going to choose average. But it's all showing zeros. Now what happened? Does it mean we've given zero discount everywhere? That's not the case. It simply rounded it off. Remember, when we talked about the data, I showed you that discount holds the data in decimal format, right? Like 0.2 is 20%, 0.8 is 80%. And Tableau is rounding it off and taking only the decimal, the integral part. It's ignoring the decimal part. That is why everything is coming as zeros. Now what to do? Let's format it. Okay, I'll right click on it and I'm going to format it. And I'm going to show the information as percentage. So we'll have to choose the field that we are trying to format, which is average discount. And I want the numerical representation of discount to come up as percentages. Look at that. And let's say I don't want decimals. So I will reduce the decimal places to 0. So this is the average discount represented as percentages. Okay, again over here, I would recommend that you pause the video and try these steps before we proceed further. All right, so we are looking at the quantity, profit, sales, and discount across different measures. But this is just like a simple text table. We need a highlight table, right? We need to bring in the color to help people understand this data easily, more comfortably. So what to do? We need to make use of the color shelf. I'm going to color it based on the measure values, right? Based on the data, we would like to color it. So the next step is to take measure values into the color shelf. Here, I'm dragging it into the color shelf. But what Tableau did is it changed the color of the text, of the numbers. We don't want that to happen. We want the color of the background to change. The cell should change in color. We need a color to be given to the cell. So how to achieve this? There is a workaround that we'll use here. We are going to change the mark type to square. So once I make it square, the cells are colored. Okay, now you might be wondering, why is it showing only gray color for discount, gray color for quantity? Let's try to understand how did Tableau give colors to each and every cell present in this table. Look at the right side. Look at the color legend. It is taking the complete range of data present in the table. The minimum value being a loss of 17,753, which is coming from here, from tables. And the maximum or the highest value is so-and-so number, which is basically the sales of chairs. So Tableau has considered the entire data in the table. And based on the complete range of values, the minimum and the maximum and whatever we have in between, right? Based on the complete range of values, it has given a color, which doesn't work. It's not meaningful to give color based on the entire data, where each column is indicating a separate field altogether. Colors should be based on the data present in each and individual measure. Based on the data in the profit column, I need to give color. Based on the values in the sales column, we need to give color there. So how do we do it? We need a separate color for each measure. For that purpose, now if I go to the measure values field associated with the color icon over here, there is an option called as use separate legends. All I need to do is select this option, use separate legends. Now you can notice how it has separated the legends. Color for each column is based on the data in that column. 242 is the minimum quantity here and maximum is 6071, as you can see. By default, Tableau will give blue. Okay, it is configured to give blue. So what if we might want to change the colors, give different colors to each of these columns? How do we edit the colors? Simply double click on the color legend. Okay, go to the right side. You can see the color legend, right? Double click on it and it opens this box. You can pick up a color of your choice from the palette. Let's say I would use purple for quantity. Okay, and I'm going to double click on profit. I would like to use red and green diverging for profit. Like that you can choose. Now sales. You notice that the color is also a continuous gradient. Sales pill is a measure. It is a green colored pill which represents continuous data. So the color is a continuous gradient here. Okay. We can also click on this color box and pick a different color if we want. Okay, we can also pick it from here. Let's say I want this color for sales. And we could use step color. Rather than continuous gradient, you can use steps. I'll use 4 steps. Let's apply and see. You see? Step color. If I reduce it further, let's see 3 steps. So lower values are coming all in white color, medium range values and high range values. Without step color, it's going to be a continuous gradient. Data will, based on the values, the color is coming. Okay. So let's change for average discount also. I'll use a different color. Okay. There. So this is how you can create a highlight table with multiple measures in it. Give a color to each column depending on the data in that column. So we did not just talk about text tables and highlight tables. We also talked about generated fields, right? The measure values field, measure names field, count field, which indicates the number of records from each table. Then we talked about latitude and longitude, which contain the coordinates for different locations across the world. That Tableau recognizes, okay? Not everything, but what Tableau recognizes. So that was, so that's it, friends. That's about text tables and highlight tables, which we understood today in this video. So please do practice as much as possible, because the more you practice and the more you explore, the more command you will get on the tool and the more confident you will become. Okay, I hope the video was helpful. Thank you all so much. So I'll see you in the next video in this series. Thank you. Bye-bye.